y'all, my name is Kennedy Pilgrim, and for my first persuasive speech, I chose to do the topic of which branch of cheer is actually a sport. There's spirit cheer and then there's competitive cheer. At the beginning of this course, I did an introduction on myself and I mentioned having cheer tryouts at the end of the month. We got the results on Thursday and I made the team, so this means that I will be cheering spirit on Friday nights, cheering for one of my favorite football teams, and then early on Saturday mornings I'll be competing on my competitive team. The debate has always been whether or not cheer is a sport. To a certain extent, the statement is true, but to another extent, it's not true at all. Spirit cheer, which is just cheering on the sidelines and doing motions, is not considered a sport. This is because you're not really doing anything. Many cheerleaders, when cheer is not a sport is brought up, a lot of cheerleaders will agree that spirit isn't a sport. 95% of the time it is just motions, but occasionally that other 5% of the time you'll have a stunt group that'll put up a stunt during a timeout, or you'll have some tumblers tumble during the beginning of the third quarter. So what's the difference between spirit and competitive cheer, you may be wondering? Normally a routine for a competitive cheer team is 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. In these 2 minutes and 30 seconds, there are normally no pauses. It is entirely fast-paced. This type of cheer includes stunting, tumbling, fast-paced dancing, jumps, and many other things. After you finish your routine, you are out of breath. I've done a speech focusing mainly on the tumbling aspect of cheer. But this amount of tumbling is extremely fast-paced. You go from standing to running within 2 8 counts. All of this is done in a competitive environment, hence the name competitive cheerleading. That is what makes this a different branch of cheerleading and differs it from spirit. That is what makes competitive cheer a sport, because you're actually competing for something. Normally in stunt groups, you are throwing girls up left and right. This makes you have to use your arms, legs, and entire body to make sure that you get those girls up to the top of that stunt. You are judged on wobbles, if a stunt falls, or how you save a stunt, or even if your stunt hits perfectly at the top, and there's a term called hitting zero. This is what ensures you getting a good score. For high school, it's 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A, and you can win your division. Cheerleading doesn't just stop at the high school level. There's a big gym located in Greenville, South Carolina called Rockstar. They have co-ed teams and they are ranked by different levels, normally going from level 1, which is the smallest level, all the way up to level 5, which is the co-ed levels. All their teams are based off rock bands or just bands in general, and one of their most famous teams is called Rockstar Beatles. They go into a big competition called Worlds at ESPN's Wide World of Sports in Orlando, Florida. They compete with teams from all over the country and all over the world. This level of cheer is the largest level you could go to. Rockstar Beatles won Worlds in 2019, and they couldn't have Worlds this year due to COVID-19, but they had high standards for what was going to hold for this year. They do stunts that are considered illegal in high school cheer, so they do things that are, to me, 2 times as hard as what high school cheer can ever do. They train harder, they train like 4 days a week, and this is the type of cheer that people don't really see. They just automatically think it's a spirit cheer. Cheerleading even continues at the college level. They go for national championships though, but the most heard of cheer team at the college level right now is due to Netflix's show Cheer, and it's Navarro Cheerleading. They do around the same stuff as Rockstar, but Rockstar ends when you graduated college, so you can start when you're in elementary school, but as soon as you have graduated high school, you're no longer eligible to be on a Rockstar cheer team. Some of the skills that high school teams do that are really difficult are called switch-ups, which is where you switch feet on the way up to the top and you catch them. So they go from their left to their right foot and you catch them at the very top. Full-ups happen, and this is where you do a full 360 rotation to the top, and they're hard because you're on one foot. And I think the hardest thing for like coming down from a stunt is called a full down, because you're barrel rolling into your base's arms and you really have to trust your bases to catch you. Rockstar does around the same thing, but they have way harder aspects. They do double ups and double downs, which is exactly what they sound like. They switch feet at the top, and this uses all your leg muscles, so they'll go left, right, left, but they're not starting way at the bottom like switch up do in high school. Although spirit cheer isn't a sport, that doesn't mean that every branch of cheer is not a sport. Competitive cheer has to have some of the strongest people I know, and that's how they make stunts hit, and that's how they're able to tumble. And that's how like in high school cheer, when they go to state and they win state, such as BHP this year in the 4A division, it takes a lot of training to get there, and it's not just handed to you. Well, spirit cheer, you learn in a matter of 30 minutes. Competitive cheer is normally from April to November, and you're working your butt off to get there. Thank you.